This is Indiana Hoosiers Live 96, presented by FanDuel. Yes, it is not Brad's fault. We are late. It is my fault. We are late. I apologize to the dear listeners. I appreciate everybody bearing with us. But man, it's good to see your face across from me on this screen. Brad, it's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been a while. You're looking good. Thanks for covering while I was out. I enjoyed a very nice time in Greece, getting me freshened up for football season. And yeah, it's here. I can't wait. We got football this week.
We
And
do.
I couldn't be more pumped. We're going to run through the slate. Keys just got some other things he's going to throw at me. And we're just going to be talking ball nonstop. We've talked all off season about the Hoosiers. I think it's going to be a little bit of everything college football, obviously very Hoosier focused. But yeah, let's get into it. How you been?
I've
How
been
was New
good.
York?
Hey, New York was a lot of fun. Obviously, I mean, well documented. My flight issues obviously caused a little bit of a conundrum with the episode I was supposed to have with Kirkwood and Dunn, but we recovered nicely with the solo show with Tim last week. That was a lot of fun. You guys can check out the clips are still rolling out on the channel as we speak. I think there's a couple lined up in the chamber. So that's really cool. But yeah, growth is fun, Brad. Our subscriber count is growing. We're approaching 700 subscribers, and we've caught a little bit of fire here. And so that's some momentum that hopefully we didn't just throw away by being about 20 minutes late to the show. But yeah, it's we're going to jump right into the slate because we have college football this week. And
I should have just hopped on and done a fucking monologue for like 20 minutes, about Lane Kiffin or something like that.
You're going like this, like people can't see the screen. It's unbelievably funny. But yeah, we have games this week, Brad. The college football is back, and we kick off Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern with North Carolina against TCU. Josh Hoover's former school, TCU, a -7.5 favorite on FanDuel over North Carolina. Brad, what do you think about this football game?
What do I think about North Carolina? Oh my God, you're throwing me on the spot. I love it. All right. Last year, TCU beat the fucking piss out of UNC. And I don't think UNC did enough to change that, to be honest. Yes, TCU loses Hoover. TCU, if you know anything about the show, there is high correlation. Indiana really being the true outlier of like blue bloods, teams that win in the past tend to win in the future, right? Indiana is like the clear exception to that rule, basically, from what we've noticed. Like the more you win in the past, the more you're going to win in the future. Very high correlation. TCU is one of those blue bloods. They've been to one national title appearance, which is a lot more than a lot of other schools. There's only been like 24 schools in the modern era to go to the national championship game. TCU is one of them. They have a history. They have a claimed national title in the background. This is a school that's always going to be investing in football. LaDainian Tomlinson, Andy Dalton, a very rich history. Gary Patterson, a fantastic history. This year they bring in Jaden Craig over from Harvard. Sonny Dykes, obviously the coach over there. He's always done a great job. I think he's in year 8, a very rare number to hit as a head coach in one spot these days. I like TCU, and I like the numbers. I like the numbers big time. I think there's a big shit show going on in UNC. What'd I say when they hired Bill Belichick in UNC? What'd I say?
I don't remember. You're going to have to
there would be perennial 6-6. And honestly, that was probably a like 8-4 at best. And like, I think I was giving them too much credit, to be honest. I think, some guy like Signetti has always said, like, I'm a college guy. It's very rare that a college coach has been able to, especially in this era, in the last like 30 years, basically since Jimmy Johnson, hasn't really been done. The college coach being able to make the transition to the NFL. Matt Rule failed. Nick Saban failed. Pete Carroll failed. And then figured out USC and then came back and figured it out with a second shot. But for the most part, guys going from college to their first ever NFL head coaching job do not find success. Urban Meyer's included in that list as well. It just doesn't work. And yeah, I like TCU in the points here. I think Jaden Craig's gonna be pretty good for TCU this year as well. I think he makes a pretty good transition. He's not your typical Ivy League quarterback. We're talking 6'3", 230, big guy, big arm, winner, player of the year in the Ivy last year. I think TCU's in for what should be a very fun season for them, honestly. And in a weaker Big 12 where they're honestly in that conference probably considered one of the big dogs historically in terms of having accolades and prowess in modern and historical tradition.
I obviously don't follow a bunch of other programs super closely. Obviously, I have my laser focus on the Indiana Hoosiers. It is hard to ignore what you refer to as a shit show coming out of North Carolina, especially being right down the road from Chapel Hill. It is none of it's good. That's going to be a really bad program. I feel horrible for all of the kids who ended up being duped by whatever they were fake prophecies and fake stories they were selling about NFL development and things like that. But they put the GM on leave. Like Belichick is who knows? Like none of it looks good. None of it looks good. I really like TCU in this game as much as, and I've been the biggest hater of TCU for the entire offseason, especially Sonny Dykes. I literally picked him in my biggest villains of college football draft.
That was so petty of you, by the way.
It was extremely petty.
It was shitty of him to shit on his former player. I found that very out of character for Sonny Dykes. I want to correct myself. It's his 5th year at TCU, 17th year coaching in the college ranks. So he's been around the block. Those Louisiana Tech teams, those SMU teams were very good. Didn't have the best run at Cal, but hard to win there. So
could TCU steal SMU's coach now?
No, I think they're on equal. Like that is like TCU SMU is like, that's the Dallas rivalry. That's a crosstown. Like that's like UCLA's head coach going to USC. I just don't really see that ever happening. Now, if I were to compare the two, I'd say USC is probably more equipped to take UCLA's head coach than TCU is to take SMU's head coach. That makes sense. But I just don't see inter-rivalry coaching switches happening very often in college football. I'm trying to stat correct myself, and I can't think of a time where that really happened, at least on the Power 4 level.
The chat will have to help us out on that. Brad, we moved to 3:00 on Saturday, which is a game that should be of great interest to our friend in the chat, Trojan Fight. The USC Trojans will host San Jose State, and it's a big number, Brad. Minus 38. It's a lot of points. It's a lot of points.
It's a lot of points. So the number I look at, 60.5 over on FanDuel Sportsbook right now.
You're not a believer.
I think USC is going to score. Gary Patterson, TCU, legendary head coach.
Look at all these triangles.
It's all connecting. It all connects in the end. It does. It really does. I like the points, and I like the spread for USC and the over. I think this is the perfect spot for them to really kind of flex their muscles. I think going through the Phil Steele book and just like high level, I think I've mentioned on the show already, the disparity between the Power 4 and the rest of the FBS ranks is, and I think this came up when we were talking about promotion, relegation concepts, world football concepts, and implementing them into college football, because there are a lot of parallels with just a mass amount of teams that we have. It makes a lot of sense, but that's neither here nor there right now. I think there's just way too big of a gap, and USC is going to be contending for a playoff as we have them as, in our Goon poll. They're in that 11 to 15 range, which is what we deemed as teams that didn't make the playoff last year, but could definitely has a real shot to enter the party this year. And USC, regardless of really where that defense is at, that offense was humming last year. They got Maiyava for another year. We actually just drafted Maiyava yesterday.
I was going to say a little inside baseball
league. So we're pretty high on Maiyava. I've always been pretty high on him as well after watching him live through a couple years ago. Back at the Rose Bowl, I thought he played pretty well against the Bruins that day. Had a lot of, not like he looks like Caleb, but he's obviously not Caleb. You know what I mean? Like the body types kind of, he's a little bigger, body types kind of similar games, like the pocket navigation, very similar to a Caleb. Maybe not as magical as Caleb, but
not as mobile, arms not as
careless, but regardless, Lincoln's worked with so many different quarterbacks. I think Maiyava is just going to join that list of really good not like really good NFL quarterbacks that make it into the next level, right? And are able to carve out some pretty solid careers and get a second contract in the grown man league. And I think Mayav is going to be that guy. I like USC here, and I like the over as well. I think this team is good enough to the difference between them making the playoff or not is going to come down to that defense. But regardless, they're going to be putting it up. I think they're going to be a 45 points a game type team this year, and they're going to be a tough matchup for anyone.
Brooks Austin's been doing quarterback breakdowns this month, and he's been doing like all over the country. And he did Mayava, and watching like his breakdown and like listening to Brooks talk about his arm and breaking down the film was really interesting. Seeing like where he struggled and why. And yeah, I'm excited to watch him this year. And I'm with you. I like the points there, and I like USC. And you talk about the talent disparity between the two teams. Yeah, this should be one where USC should be in the top 20 in the country in terms of obviously what they spent on the roster, and then recruiting wise and all. You see the talent versus what San Jose can put on the field.
Yeah, I think from like a Big Ten perspective, as a Big Ten fan, like what you should be looking at is obviously like holding that San Jose offense to less than 20 points. I think is definitely something you want to see if you're a USC fan to see if they're legit or not. And then seeing how these kind of new receiving targets for Mayava fit in the offense. They have the running backs back. The running game's going to still be there, which was actually very strong last year with King Miller and Wayman Jordan. How do those receivers fit in? I don't think I'm concerned about it. It's just kind of seeing who's going to be that guy for Mayava down the stretch, or guys, plural, for Mayava down the stretch as they make their own playoff push. I think having them start in week 0, I think is a big advantage for them because they get to damn right, Trojan fight. And what was I going to say? The receivers, I think they're not a concern for me. Just seeing who those guys are going to be. Their O-line projects to be the best that Lincoln's had in his time at USC, which I think is a big thing that not a lot of people are talking about with this USC team. They're going to be fun on the offensive side of the ball. I think it just comes down to seeing what that defense looks like under Gary Patterson. And, you get a former legendary head coach to coordinate just one side of the ball. I think it's gonna work out for them. And D'Anton Lynn made some progress, but they still had a lot of gaps to make up. And I think a lot of people were disappointed in Lynn when they made the move over. He was able to convert a number 100 defense to a top 10 defense overnight over there at UCLA, and wasn't really able to do the same thing. Obviously, at UCLA, he had kind of a plethora of riches with the Murphy twins and Latu rushing off the edge, and had probably some better personnel than Lynn was working with at USC, but still wasn't able to do it. So I think Gary Patterson could be that final push to maybe break them into a top 25 defense, which with Lincoln Riley is basically what you need to be a national contender.
I think Tuna Kynes is going to be the go-to guy for Mayava there, but obviously we'll see.
Yeah, it could be Terrell Anderson, could be maybe a freshman, a Boobie Feaster, a Mark Bowman.
Embarrassment of riches over there for the offense for the Trojans. But yeah, let's move on, Brad, to another team from North Carolina. It is kind of funny that the two marquee universities in North Carolina are both playing on Saturday, but NC State is going to travel to Virginia to take on the Cavaliers.
I like how we're starting with this. Usually we end the show with the slate. But I like how we're just kicking it off.
College football is bad. I know there was bad vibes to start the show. You're like hurrying me along.
We had to get going, right? I'm sure people are here. I'm sure people are here for ACC.
The important thing about this episode is the Smokies, and then obviously next week we have our big preview of the North Texas game. But I felt like college football was in the air, and I wanted to start here. But yeah, NC State traveling to Virginia, -5.5 for Virginia. Brad, who do you got?
So Virginia was one game away from in the ACC last year, and honestly, like an absolute choke job not being able to get that done against that Duke team. That they're probably better than. They benefited from an easier schedule, a couple of 3 overtime victories: Florida State, Louisville, and even on the road in North Carolina. They had beaten Duke on the road about 3 weeks prior to the ACC championship game, and when you play a team that closely, it's hard to beat good teams twice. It's a very, unless you're Indiana playing Oregon, and that gets it worse for you. But they were able to, beating a team doesn't necessarily make you, but I'm about to go on a tangent. I'm going to stop myself there. Beating a team does not make you necessarily better than that team. Anyways, and that's proof of it right there, where they split the series with Duke. Anyways, back to the game. NC State, they return CJ Bailey, I believe.
They do.
Virginia brings in Bo Perbula, who was kind of a flop at Mizzou last year. Didn't really culminate into that, the guy that was showing flashes and getting tick on Penn State while Drew Aller was there. Looked like a gadget guy, turned out to be a gadget guy for them. However, he's in this new system that was able to get to the ACC championship game last year. With that in mind, they bring back 5 starters on the offensive line. I like Virginia here. Do I like the points? Week zeros and week ones are typically close to like glorified scrimmages, right? These games are closer than you think, especially when they're playing interconference and they're playing inner Power 4 ball. It gets testy. Did they play last year? Yes. They actually lost week 2 on the road to NC State by 4. I actually remember watching that game and remember both those teams stunk so much. But I remember watching about that game. And then obviously Virginia goes on their run because they weren't what they were toward the end of the year. You get better as you go throughout the year. I like Virginia and the points here the more I'm talking about it. I like it. Dorn's still there. NC State has a lot of high hopes for their team. I just think Virginia brings enough back from a team that made it pretty far last year, and I think they're very excited for what they have coming in. And Virginia gets them at home this time, and they're in for some revenge. So with them losing last year, I'm all over Virginia. As you can see, I kind of just thought this through live on the air. I like Virginia.
There's Brad's process live in action. I'll make it super simple. I'm a CJ Bailey guy. I kind of believe. I kind of like the tools. So I'll go with NC State. I'll take
CJ Bailey. I'd take him as the quarterback. That's for sure.
Saturday, 5:30, Brad, Jacksonville State versus North Dakota State. Is this North Dakota State's first FBS football game?
Yes, it is. And it's also no, it's not a conference game. But it is their FBS opener in the Fargo Dome.
That's crazy.
Feels like this is probably the game I feel the best about.
Jacksonville State's traveling a long way for this game.
Well, they're not in Jacksonville.
I know they're in Alabama, right?
I think they're. I should have, instead of calling you out, I should have just known where they were.
No, I know they're not in Jacksonville.
Yeah. They're well, they are in Jacksonville, but not the Jacksonville.
Not
Florida.
Jacksonville, Florida.
Yeah, Jacksonville, Alabama.
Come on,
nailed it. Come on, don't let them get hot.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this will be a fun game. Obviously, the FBS opener in the Fargo Dome. Got North Dakota State coming in. I think Jacksonville State features a 6'8" receiver that everyone's talking about. That's a sicko like me. Wanted to watch this kid. I think that'd be like underrated. Probably the game you want to watch this weekend. I think it's going to be electric, regardless of the result. At the end of the day, I like North Dakota State by 2 touchdowns here. This is what they do. They're winners. They're going to continue to win. Jacksonville State is not going to be the reason. Like this is a ball club, North Dakota State. I think they beat 5 straight Big 12 opponents back in their FCS school.
Well, they're favored by 7.5, Brad.
I don't think they're worried about Jacksonville State. Let's just say that. I think this is a team that I don't know if they're eligible for the JFP, but they are a program equipped to make a push for that 12th spot in the 12-team playoff.
No, I don't know. The funny thing about that,
but we'll get there when we get there.
Funny thing about that 6'8" receiver, I got him to transfer 1 year in Dynasty, and it like broke my ability to recruit receiver. I just always try and look for a 6'8" receiver now, and he's the only one. But yeah, I'm with you. They're 7.5 point favorites in their first FBS game. I think that's a statement in and of itself. I'm riding with you there. Moving on to 6:30. Is this Sacramento State's first FBS game?
Yes, it is. It's also their first MAC conference game.
Unreal. They traveled to the gray turf to face Eastern Michigan.
New silver turf. Are they going to be breaking through the cylinder blocks, the sledgehammer to walk out of the tunnel? The Eagles of Ypsilanti, Michigan. Am I saying that right? Ypsilanti? It's got to be Ypsilanti.
I don't know, but I like that your camera's zooming into you right now as you go into deep thought.
Ypsilanti. Is it really doing that?
Yeah, it is. It is
so cool. Yeah, I mean, Sacramento State been doing the things you want to see from a team that is trying to be relevant in an NIL era. I think they're one of the more fascinating programs in the country just from that sense. Like, this is a team that was not an FCS power by any means. And then all of a sudden, like, they're just putting all this money into it. Right? And I think it's very fascinating. I think it's a school you should keep an eye on. Reality.
Hey, Brad, I gotta grab the dog. I gotta bring the dog inside. Just keep going.
Okay, I'll run through the slate. Oh wow, Ohio State primetime live. You hate to see that. That is gross. Let's go one box here. Let's get keys out of there. Oh no. Nailed it. All right. We got Sacramento State at Eastern Michigan. It is a 9.5 point spread in favor of the Eagles here on FanDuel Sportsbook. We have a 52.5 total. It's on the same note as Sacramento State being a fascinating story and a fascinating program to watch. First-year head coach, something to note. That's important. I don't know why they went in a different direction, making the move up to FBS. This guy
didn't he take the Colorado offensive coordinator job, or was that the offensive coordinator?
I'm not sure. I don't know too much. What I do know is this guy his only head coaching experience was at a community college about 10 years ago. He had about a 6-year stint. They went 7-5 last year in the Big Sky. Now, the Big Sky, to their credit, tough conference. You got UC Davis, you got the Montanas. It's not easy over there in the Big Sky. Got Cal Poly. They took Nevada down to the wire. There's a lot there. I'm going to take Eastern Michigan here, but I think I would be cautious to lay points on this game, period, just from the amount of unknown there is with Sacramento State and the danger there is because there is money on their side. That's the only reason why I'm hesitant to take like a 9.5 from Eastern Michigan. I like Eastern Michigan to win, so if you want to lay that money line on your parlay, I think that's a fine play. But laying the points could be a little risky here. And do not have a read on the total at all. Don't have one. Don't have a single read.
Sounds like a giant stay away is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, it's
scary.
One of these things as I roll, like we talk about gambling responsibly. Like I'm right there. I'm one of the more responsible gamblers there is out there. And one of my favorite plays is the no touch play. Do not touch that game. Best way to gamble is knowing the right answer.
It's true.
Just know the answer. You don't have to try to get juicy odds. Just get the right answer. It's that easy.
Let's move on here, Brad. 7:00. Florida State and shockingly somehow still Mike Norvell are going to play host to New Mexico State. They are 30.5 point favorites. How do you feel about the Noles this year?
Well, they're on my receiving votes, mostly on the precipice that they're a blue blood. They do want to be good. They have history. They have 2 national titles in the modern era. They're an important part of the story and the fabric that is college football. And Florida State's good, and the tomahawk chop's going. I feel like college football's better. They bring in Ashton Daniels this year to play quarterback. I think, God, man, this just brings me back to that 12-0 team. They are absolutely robbed, and they just took all the energy out of the building by not letting those kids go to the playoff and doing literally everything right. And then we wondered why they went 2-10 the next year. It's very obvious. You rob kids of an opportunity to play something that they earned. Didn't lose a game. They play in the ACC. Tough conference. Ran the table. They just robbed them because one of their players got hurt. And I know it was the quarterback. Shouldn't matter. There's 10 other guys on the field. I think it was disgusting. I think they earned the right to get their ass beat by Washington or Michigan in the playoff. And they didn't get that opportunity. I think that was bullshit, and it really derailed Florida State for the worst. Like, how do you go into a weight room after going undefeated and being robbed and having any sort of motivation for working hard and doing any of those things? It was really right. I don't stress the point that the sanctity of sport was tarnished that day. That's neither here nor there. We got a 30-point spread at home against a New Mexico State team, and I've said this before, the gap between these teams are exponential at this point. It's only getting worse as the years go on. I like Florida State here to cover. They beat Kent State 66-10 last year, even though as bad as they were able to beat East Texas A&M, who's clearly not as good as New Mexico State, but like they beat their ass by 70. They're more than equipped to cover a 30-point spread. It's just really about like it being a week 0 game, glorified scrimmage. How long does it take for Florida State to get going? But like they bring back Chroma. They have back from injury. They have Daniels playing quarterback. They have Deuce Robinson. Like their trio is pretty decent. But I like the points. I think they have. There's always going to be talent at Florida State, and I think I took them last year to beat Bama week 1. That was a huge cash out for me. Yeah, chop it up, 30.5. It's a good number too.
You talked me into it because I was kind of looking at it going like, it's Florida State, it's Norvell. There's a bunch of bad energy around it. Like, I don't know if I like it, but you're reading it like there was bad energy around him last year. And I actually, like I mentioned Brooks Austin before, Daniels is one of the quarterbacks that he broke down, and his tape's really encouraging. Like it looks good at certain points. And so I think I'm going to ride with you on that one too, Brad. I think I do like the points. And you're right. College football is better when they're good, when that stadium's going, when that fan base can be like involved. So yeah, part of me kind of hopes he does turn it around. It is kind of cool to see like that maybe the one school in the country that is abiding by loyalty. So
I mean, just look at last year. You know, they start with the Bama win. They get those 2 easy cupcakes. And then they lose to Virginia on the road in double OT. The next week, they get Miami. They lose that game by a touchdown, 6 points. Winnable. The next week, they go to Pittsburgh. They get Pittsburgh at home. They lose that game by 3. And then they lost to Stanford by a touchdown. And it's just all down the drain at that point. It's like, where's the motivation? The only reason why our Stanford game was that close is as the weeks go on, they're out of the playoff by the time they even get to Stanford. They're out of it. And they're probably already out of the relegation zone. So they're kind of in that in-between phase, playing for pride, which doesn't really come around too much in this era, which is kind of sad to say. But yeah, I like Florida State here. I mean, they were away, like they were a couple plays away from starting 6-0.
I like that spin on it. Then we get 2 more games on the night, Brad, and I like both these games. And both these games might have an impact on I don't know. I don't want to say the playoff, but I guess like the greater college football watching experience. Like if you're a fan of the sport, like you're probably going to be tuning into these 2 games. First one being Hawaii traveling to California to take on Stanford. Brad, Stanford is a 3.5-point favorite, and I really like Hawaii in this game. Am I crazy?
So Hawaii won last year. I know for a fact they won on a game-winning field goal because I was watching and I had Stanford minus 2.5. And I lost. However, redemption happens this year. So Hawaii has a very talented quarterback by the name of Micah Alahado.
My guy.
Stud. Beast. However, Stanford year 2 in the Andrew Luck GM reign. Year 2. They bring in they have a quarterback. Sorry. His name is Davis Warren.
Oh, wow.
Familiar.
Wow.
Loyola Cub. Played at my alma mater. High school. They bring back 5 starters on the offensive line. They bring back their leading rusher. They bring back 7 starters on defense, all of whom were there last year. Same system. Maybe not the same system, but still under Andrew Luck. Now, recruiting at Stanford's obviously a little different. It's very similar to like the troubles of a UCLA and a Notre Dame and a Vanderbilt and a Northwestern. You got to make academic grades. But once upon a time ago, Stanford was as relevant as you can be in this sport. Toby Gerhart, Christian McCaffrey, Kevin Hogan, Andrew Luck, right? What an era for them. Am I saying they're going to be back? No. Do I think they can beat Hawaii at home? By 3.5? 3.5 is a tough number. That's the tricky thing. 3.5 is a bad number for Stanford. I really want to take it. What could be fun is a total of 48.5. That could be fun. That could be a fun little thing to play. I'm taking Stanford here. I'm a little cautious about it because Micah Alahado can really play. But with that in mind, Davis Warren, Micah Alahado, over 48. Tell me I just need 7 touchdowns out of those guys?
I kind of like it.
That's a good number. It's a good number.
And then the final game of the night, Brad, this should be the best game of the day. Memphis UNLV to cap it off. UNLV hosting and is the favorite by 4.5 points. Can't speak tonight.
It's okay. Memphis, once again, going through a coaching change. Feels like that happens a lot because a lot of their coaches end up being taken by other schools. First year for Charles Huff, who was the Southern Miss head coach last year. If you don't remember, he was the head coach for the Marshall team that beat Notre Dame 2 years ago. A prestigious program, a team that has usually been very good over the past. But this is probably the first guy where, is he a offensive wizard like a Silverfield or a Mike Norvell or I don't know, a running gun. So we just have a lot to see. They have yet to name a starting quarterback. UNLV knows who their starters will be. It'll be Orji and Jackson Arnold, who would both probably win the job at Memphis, just based on their stature. UNLV at home. Been there. They're playing in Allegiant Stadium these days. Very cool place. The Black Hole. Give me UNLV for it. I'm going favorites, though, so it's making me cautious, right? Because it's week 0. We don't know anything, and I'm just taking favorites. Making me nervous.
I don't know. I don't hate the logic behind it. But to your point, like, one team doesn't know the quarterback, the other team has 2 quarterbacks. Like, maybe I like the team that doesn't know the quarterback better. It's like, I don't know. I like UNLV hosting, especially in week 1.
The history makes me want to take Memphis so bad. It was just year 1 head coach, year 2 for Dan Mullen. He's got a little edge on him.
I find myself being a Dan Mullen guy. I like what they did with Calandria last year.
Yeah, I've just taken the home favorite every single game. And, maybe it does go undefeated in week 0. That happens. I'm usually pretty good at week 0, usually.
But yeah,
I'm just
college football's back.
I'm gonna stick with UNLV. I think it's a common playoff pick. You can see a world where Memphis pulls this game off, and all of a sudden they're a little frisky little playoff pick for everyone. This has playoff implications on it. Week 0. Everyone's fighting for that 12th spot in the group of 5.
I love it.
These teams. Does Notre Dame take up one of those? Like, can they just get at large? Like, they don't get.
I don't think they count
top
5
team. Okay, cool.
They don't count
as
like that.
Be.
They have their
as
own rules.
I
saw you defending them in the. We will.
You saw me defending Notre Dame today.
Yeah, I didn't love that. I might have to.
Right, we can talk about it. We can talk about it.
All right, we're gonna speed run the really speed run the smoke.
We'll
I have a couple things to talk to you about. I want like real quick, like 1 or 2 word responses to just like things that happen in Indiana football.
Well, we didn't preview UMass at Rutgers, but I like
that's
Rutgers.
September. That's next week. That's Thursday.
You're right, because the dates are on the bottom. Okay.
Yeah. Well, and I know because I will be with a Rutgers fan watching that game on Thursday. I'll be at the Darlington Motor Speedway. I'll be back at Darlington recording, and I'll do another show from the trailer in the like whatever the lot's called out there. So if anybody's going to the Darlington Motor Speedway, let me know. I'll be there.
Did you see Rutgers is doing a blackout for the IU game this year?
I did. It's on the smoke, Brad. It's on the smoke. Drewski was at the Speedway last year, like doing like a skit, and I had no idea. And if I saw him in like his like whatever costume he was in, would have had no clue. It would have been hilarious. I wish I saw. But yeah. But
so
no,
short summary, if you're just tuning in, Brad really likes the home favorites in week 0. This is late. Yeah, it could be right.
There was a Carter Smith quote from early last week that almost set the fan base on fire, Brad. I almost damn near passed out in the Sheets parking lot. Did you see Carter Smith say that he broke an arm brace while at practice, meaning he's gaining strength and building strength and obviously in a good place. But the way that the quote was tweeted out made it seem like that there was a scare and that he had maybe broken an arm. And there was about 15 seconds there where I was like hyperventilating reading this tweet.
The first line of that tweet was very scary. But then the rest of it was very good. It makes me think that Carter Smith's going to be just fine this year. And he seems like he is. Shout out Tyson Brown. How about that? That's my quick little spiel for that. Shout out Tyson Brown.
Shout out Tyson Brown again. Byron Baldwin Jr., the Indiana football released a video of I think maybe it was Daily Hoosier or something. Put out a video of the safeties moving. It was Amari Fellow and then Byron Baldwin Jr. And Baldwin just glides. I equate it to watching De'Aaron Fox guard a guy from Stephen F. Austin, where he's just like significantly faster than him and just like literally looks like he's gliding across the court. That's what Baldwin looks like, the way he moves out there. I'm super excited to see what he looks like with extended playing time this year.
I thought Farrell looked better, but not too much drop off, which is a good sign.
Oh, I mean, I would hope Farrell looked better. He's been in the system. He's more
he's
reps.
Older.
But Baldwin, in terms of a mover, in terms of the like fluidity of movement, it's really impressive stuff. I'm very excited for it.
Wasted motion with DBs. We talk about with T-Cal all the time about why 40 times don't matter and how 4.6 guys running 4.6 can play DB in the NFL. It's because they don't have wasted motion. Have you
been seeing what T-Cal's been up to recently?
No.
He's been doing a lot of really cool stuff. He's been doing a lot of work with Lou Moore. Sweet Lou.
Oh, that's cool. I actually have seen a little bit of that.
Yeah, shout out to T-Cal.
That's cool. Yeah, shout out to T-Cal. He's a beast.
Yep. I don't know if you saw it, Brad, but we are getting the standard in season. We got the first episode of the standard, like first in season episode of the standard last week, and this is going to seemingly be a reoccurring thing for the entire season. So obviously we'll assume we're going to get the Don Fisher recap videos. But the standard wasn't just an off season project. It wasn't just like here's 6 episodes of this. Like this is going to be a continuing thing. And obviously Trevor Bowens is the new director of creative video for Indiana football. Super excited to see what he does with the ball. Obviously Daryl, she loves my kicks, moved on to the Ravens. So shout out to him and what he's doing next in his career. He did a kick-ass job. And Noah Gilbert just became the new assistant director of creative video for Indiana football. And so we got some demons in the right places. And creative is always in the right spot, always doing good things. And I'm very, very excited for that. We got some scrimmage clips in the standard. And so yeah, really excited to see what kind of behind the scenes look that they give us. Obviously, we know it's going to be super protected and Sig's not going to release anything that he doesn't want to get out there. But did you look at the standard and are you excited about seeing it during the season?
I did watch the Standard. Very excited they're doing it throughout the year. Hopefully they do like quick game recaps. So one thing the Jacksonville Jaguars actually do is they, after each game, they'll do like a creative montage of the game, like very cool angles of the game, and then put the radio call on top. So we got Don Fisher, we can pull this one off. And just like creating kind of a cinematic video of the game that happened this past week. I would love that as a,
Do you watch the Don Fisher recap video?
What do you mean? Oh, like we already do that, huh?
Yeah.
But I guess with the Standard, I guess we'll like interview guys. Honestly, like I kind of want to keep our guys focused a little bit.
No, that's what I mean. So like, do you think that it could be a potential distraction? Like, what do you?
A little bit, as long as it doesn't affect the process. I'm all for it, but I'm worried that it will.
I don't think Sig is greenlighting anything. He has his hands in every part of this program. He's not greenlighting anything that he feels like is going to affect the process.
Of course, and everyone's going to shut up and listen. So trust Sig.
Do you have any quick thoughts on how the Indiana Hoosiers are performing throughout the preseason? I know there was.
I'm sorry about the Don Fisher recap video things. It's just been so long since football season. I kind of forgot about them. But I do watch those religiously.
I was like, wait a second. No, we've talked about these videos before. Like, what if we had this? We have this great voice, Don Fisher. Like, what if we should use him more? Like, do you think should he call the basketball games? Like, what do you think?
I'm like, we could pull this off.
You know, like, we should call it basketball games.
I think we could pull this off, guys.
We're just wasting this guy on just football. Like,
we could just.
Oh my goodness!
I think we could pull this off. I sound like such an idiot there. My goodness.
Indiana Hoosiers in the preseason. There was some strange Omar Cooper, like weird buzz. Obviously, like people would say weird shit about receivers. If you remember, Jamar Chase had a drop problem during his rookie training camp. Mendoza, obviously,
NFL fandom idiocracy. They're all idiots. If you're an NFL fan that doesn't watch college football, like you're actually like don't even know nearly as much as someone who does watch college football. Like you just. Because if you watch college football, you watch the NFL. That's where all your favorite college players play. If you're an NFL guy who doesn't watch college football, like I'm sorry, you're just not a ball knower. I mean, I'm sorry. Like, if you don't watch at least 10 college games, like you're finding out all these players, like you're just finding out who Sonny Styles is, like in April. Come on, guys. Like, there's probably a guy out there who doesn't even know who Jeremiah Smith is. You know, think about that. Makes me sick. Makes me sick to my stomach that he's like out here trying to give his own opinions on anything about the sport. Doesn't even know freaking guy probably doesn't even know who Cole McDonald is.
It's a shame. It's a damn shame.
Oh my God. I'm just trying to think of like a niche, really good college football player who didn't really pan out in the NFL. Like
Nick Nash.
Probably doesn't know who Nick Nash is. Probably doesn't even know who Diego Pavia is. College football legend forever. Casual NFL fan won't know.
It's crazy.
Disgusting that they can have opinions.
This generation, man.
About
this generation.
It's not even what else? This has been going on forever.
You know what else is disgusting, Brad? Dick Vitale's actions on the Twitter sphere. That's absolutely disgusting. But
a Notre Dame fan, by the way.
He has single-handedly reignited the Indiana Notre Dame trash talk like 3 or 4 times, like distinctly this offseason with very like Notre Dame is still holding all the cards energy. And I know he's got dealing with what he's dealing with, and like obviously hope health-wise it's all good.
Love Dickie B, by the way, regardless.
Me too, which is why it's so hard to watch. Like it's like, come on, Dick, stop. Like, what are we doing?
Stick to basketball, Dick. Stick to it.
Yeah, but you were in the comments defending Notre Dame. So I want to give you a chance to kind of speak on that and speak to a little bit why, because I don't know if I really appreciated that.
Defending Notre Dame about what? What did I defend them about?
God, what did you defend them about? I think somebody said that they weren't a power football team.
Yeah. Dumbest thing I've ever heard.
That's
Notre Dame's not a power team. Yes, technically they're not a power conference team. Yes, technically.
How is that not good stuff?
They're technically not a power conference. I just think, to be honest, like I really do see like flowers to Notre Dame. Like the fact that they don't need a conference is kind of a flex. Like It is. Like the fact
They're
that
just
they get
costing
their
themselves
TV
money.
deal, like bro, if Indiana had their own NBC deal for the last 30 years, I'd be flexing the shit out of that. Kidding me? Fucking, we don't need you. We're Indiana. Fucking damn it. I kind of understand where they come from sometimes. The only thing that we can humble them down with is the fact that they haven't won and earned a national title. That's a real thing. They've only been handed national titles, and I would love to go on. Oh my god, let's just do it right now. Let's just do what I would do right now. 1988.
Well, do you want to share your screen and show the blue blood rankings?
I mean, I guess we could do that. But all right, I'll share my screen for this in terms of what I'm looking at right now. All right, let's share screen. Let's go. Boom. It's 1988. This is the year that Notre Dame won the national title. All right, this is fun. Who didn't they play? Who did they have to beat? So they went 12-0. Who did they play? They obviously played number 2 Miami. They beat number 1 Miami at the time, number 2 USC, number 3 West Virginia. Kind of a light schedule.
Bad example.
Kind of a light schedule, regardless. But here's the thing. Like, if they had a playoff, yes, I know they beat this team, not that team. They would have had to play Florida State, right? Would have had to play maybe West Virginia again. Maybe would have had to play Miami again. Like, we had to play Oregon again, right? Like, they only played count the games. They played 12 total games. And they were handed a national title. Yes, in this particular instance, they are the only undefeated team. So, yeah, I'd probably hand them the national title as well. But we also saw Oregon go 13-0 a year ago and not win a national title. So who's better, 2024 Oregon or 1988 Notre Dame? Because they were deemed national titles. If Oregon would have won the national title 2 years ago with the same rules as 1988 Notre Dame, that's my issue with this whole thing. That's my issue.
And that was my biggest issue with every time I see Dick Vitale pop up on my timeline being like, Indiana, Kurt Cignetti needs to show more respect to Notre Dame. It's like, do they? And why? Tell me why. No more free lunch. They can come to Bloomington if they want.
Yeah, we could pull up the new blood ranking. Hold on. This is fun. We're doing this. This is a new thing that we're doing. All right, this is fun.
Brad wanted to get show more.
The sanctimonious Sigs Inside document where I have all this bullshit.
Yeah, this is intellectual property.
This is the new blood rankings.
What do we got on the bottom here? We got the 2026 depth chart, the Goon poll,
so it goes by
depth chart.
modern era national titles. Indiana's at the bottom because they don't have any claims beyond that. These other schools, they have claims. This column is claims between 1968, which is the year the AP poll was finalized after the bowl games were played, which is crazy. They used to crown national champions from 1967 to 1936 before they even played bowl games. Insane. So those are the claimed national titles here. Notre Dame has 5 of those of their 8. They claim 11, but I counted 8. But, guess we share titles, those days. But this is what matters right here. Notre Dame obviously is one of 2 schools to be in 2 national title games or more than 1 national title game and not win one. Them and Oregon are the only schools to be in more than 1 national title game and not win one. Because why is that number so low over such a long period of time? Winning in the past correlates to winning in the future. So in my mind, it's only a matter of time before Oregon and Notre Dame win one. More so Notre Dame than Oregon because they've actually won one. Or I guess was claimed to have won one in the past. I don't know. That's just how I think about it.
There's a real, and if you saw at the bottom there's a bunch of other tabs in there, including the Hoops transfer portal wish list, which is a hilarious document to look at right now. Not that we're going to reopen that can of worms.
Do not open that. That is gross.
I really wanted to ask you about this, Brad, because this is significant. Indiana football is completely sold out not just the conference schedule, but every game on the schedule for the first time, I believe, since 1969, if I'm not mistaken. That is a huge deal. Obviously, another milestone in the Curt Cignetti era, something that we saw coming. But I mean, even going back to Curt Cignetti's first year and even parts of last year, we're still talking about whether or not the crowd was going to show up. Obviously, more so not after the Illinois game last year, but to see now every single game in the season sold out, especially those non-con games, which people have been lambasting online, unbelievably impressive. What does it mean to you?
To sell out a game with Howard at home, to be honest, didn't even think that was possible. Didn't even think that was possible. Doing it even before the season is a whole nother level. To do it before the game week is I think is just insane. It just emphasizes the fact that Indiana is a modern power right now. And I think people just need to accept it rather than fight it. And they need to just put a little more respect in our name and not Reese Davis said it best. A century futility forgotten. Indiana is the kings of college football. To win a title, who gives a fuck what happened in the past? Seriously. Gives a shit. They won one. They won the toughest. They went on the toughest run ever in the sport.
And there's still milestones for this program to hit as a football program too, which is insane.
The runningest of the table that you can do in the sport. Yes, there's been plenty of 15-0 teams in the 4-team playoff era. Yes, we took it a step further. We had to play an extra game. We had to play Alabama in the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, big deal. Big deal. There are spots to fill in the Indiana Voice of College Football Fantasy League. If you want to play college fantasy, let me know. You join the league. We'll probably draft this week. That's the goal.
That is the goal.
Spots to fill. Brooks Austin, David Pollack moved over to On3. Yogi Roth moved over to NBC. I only write that down just to say there's movement in the industry. It's really cool to see On3 make positive moves. Obviously, we saw they went and grabbed George Reister, whatever the hell that dude's name is, just an Indiana grifter, essentially. But it is cool to see them go and get a guy like Brooks Austin, who I've been watching a lot of his film breakdowns. Obviously, if you've been a college football fan for a long time, you know David Pollack and his value to the space. So it is really cool to see them make positive moves as somebody who does pay attention to a lot of sports media.
David Pollack, his value to the space. It's one of the best DNs in SEC history. Put some respect on his name.
I'm talking about as a media personality.
I know. I'm just messing with you. David Pollack. Undersized, not the right body type, still gets picked in the first round because he's one of the best defensive players in SEC history. And I say that without a stutter, right? This guy comes in 6'1", 260, basically the same size as Daly. Like, not your typical, like, NFL body, but just an absolute just menace. Unfortunately, breaks his neck in the NFL. Doesn't play again, obviously. An unfortunate career. Glad he's reprising it and staying close to the game and being involved in the media. And I think people don't necessarily realize that about David Pollack and how great of a player he was. If you were to make a list of the 100 greatest players in college football history, he'd be on that list. So when he speaks, you listen. That's it. That's all I got to say.
That's the eye test. Did you get a chance to see the Merchants Bank commercial that they released for Indiana football?
Oh, it's a piece of art.
It's unbelievable. Beautiful. Absolutely.
Oh my God, so wholesome. Features several guys on the team. I believe Lee Beebe's in it twice. Hoover obviously does the fist bump with the frog. You got Nick Marsh, Turbo Richard, running bag drills.
Sig's in
it. Loved how they did. Sig looked off in that video a little bit, is what I kind of noticed. Looks a little like paler and lighter. It might have just been the lighting. But a beautiful commercial nonetheless. Obviously it's going to be regional, so I'm pretty sure it's going to be like Big Ten Network at best, probably strictly during Indiana games. Don't think we'll be seeing that on CBS. Maybe we do. I don't know. Maybe that's a commercial they play every time we play, regardless.
But we are banking on you.
Yeah, hop on over. Hop on over. That could be our new recruiting pitch. Yeah,
I can't wait to use that this year.
Might just start handing recruits. We'll slip some
Little,
hop on over
note card that says "hop on over."
Yeah.
Oh, it's good. It's too good.
I'm gonna put the patch. I feel like we're not doing the Merchants Bank patch because I feel like we can go a little higher with that. And like, I know the guy absolutely butchered it on media day, but like, Google makes too much sense. Too much sense. Too much sense. If we have a patch other than Google, like, I'll be pretty disappointed, honestly.
I think the Lily one looks clean. I don't know. I just want something.
Lily would be sweet.
If it's not going to make us the most money in the country, like if we're not going to break the Notre Dame record, then I want it to look very tasteful. If we are going to break the Notre Dame record, then you could bedazzle it. I don't care.
Google doesn't need to sponsor a college football jersey is the thing. That's the kicker. But
most companies don't need to sponsor a college football jersey.
It's true. Good point. I don't think Chase needs to as well. And SoFi, we all know what those are. The average
SoFi actually makes a lot of sense. SoFi actually makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, but not a lot of people know what SoFi is.
I think it's funny that
I've worked a lot. I've personally worked a lot with SoFi, so I know what they are. But yeah, I would love
great commercial. Great
Google
commercial.
Would be sick on the patch though. Google would be so dope. I want it so bad. That'd be my dream. We want that more than winning a champion. No, I'm kidding.
You alluded to it before, Brad. We are officially the blackout game for Rutgers. I think I'm going to try and go to this game, obviously being a New Jersey guy. But it is cool being everyone's Super Bowl. I really enjoy it, and feels good. What'd you think?
Thank you, Rutgers. And that night's going to be electric for them. That makes me a tad bit more nervous than I was before for the Rutgers game. Not that I think they're going to beat us or anything. I mean, who knows? Anything can happen on a blackout night, in Piscataway.
It does get crazy. Gets rowdy.
60 minutes for the rest of our lives,
Greg Schiano has got those boys.
Your eyes full of hearts, can't lose. Schiano, man, we're out of here.
20 years since they beat Louisville.
Could be 20 years on the date. That Louisville game against Brian Brom.
No, it was a little later. I think it was a little later.
Yeah, I know. That was definitely like an October game. So
yeah, and it was like teachers convention or whatever. I remember I was watching it. I think it was at the Hard Rock in Orlando.
I was on my couch.
I very vividly remember watching Mike Teal and Brian Leonard and Ray Rice and who was receiver on that team, whatever, going out and put it on the guys. Yeah,
I was definitely doing math homework watching that game for sure. Doing some some long division, maybe something like that.
Keeping the mind sharp. That's what we got here. Bison Drop is back, Fred. Bison Drops is back. Yeah. You can now. It's really cool what they're doing. You can bid on field level suites, and so they're basically doing auction style for the field level seats. And you can go try and bid on those and win those. And I'm sure they'll end up going for a crazy number, but. Obviously, if you follow us or if you follow Bison Drops, you know that they were dropping really cool shit during the college football playoff and after. And I hope they get back to that because I'm trying to win one of those. I thought I could have won one of those social drops. We'll see. Maybe in the future. You put out your playoff predictions, Brad. Do you want to run through those or do you want to skip over those and we can?
I mean, we've done them on the show before and they're tweeted out. So it didn't really change much when we went over. I flipped. We'll run it. We'll show it. Fine.
Fine, because then I have 5 things for you, and then we're running into the Smokies.
So this is my initial bracket or my top 25. As you can see, all the top 10 teams are teams that returned. The next tier would be teams I think have legit shots of crashing the party this year. Your Michigans, your USCs, very blue blood heavy. Long shots, longer shots, Iowa, and then some teams that sparked my interest a little bit. Brad, how about them Braves? We'll answer that later. But here's my playoff. Broke it down. 4 Big Ten, 4 SEC, and ACC. I don't see it as a super strong conference. As you can see, SMU is my second highest ranked ACC team here. It's going to be hard for someone to maybe crash the party here. It was a conference that ate itself alive last year. don't see that changing too much this
The new
year.
Pac-12?
The ACC.
Yeah. Just like the
Yeah,
Pac-12 used to do back in the day.
The Pac-12 of old. I think the ACC is a solid conference, and you win that conference, you're a good team. Like Duke last year, good team. That's why their quarterback's playing for Miami this year. Pretty crazy that happened, anyways. But yeah, here's my playoff. I kind of flip these numbers around, really, because let me zoom in here for people to see on the screen. That's probably better for everyone at home. I flipped them around just to make the matchups more fun. As you can see, like in each little quadrant, there's one SEC, one Big Ten team. Because I don't know who's going to be ranked higher than one. Like if they're that close, like I don't know the margin of victory and who beats who. Like does Texas beat Ohio State? I don't know. Does Texas drop 2 and then Ohio State's 11-1 with a Texas loss, or are they 10-2? Like I really have Ohio State. Don't have them having a bye really, but just because they have a tough schedule and they have a tougher schedule than Oregon, so I give them a higher seed. Oregon a higher seed. I don't think Oregon in that coordinator turnover is going to be as big of an issue as we initially thought. Looking into it, a lot of their 2 coordinators were heavily involved in the game planning, work both co OC and DC respectively the last 2+ years for Oregon. Don't think the coordinator issue is going to be too big of a drop off. I do think that we have their number. I think that's like the one team that we can say that about, to be honest. I just think if Oregon shows up and plays Indiana, like they're just going to lose. I think Lanning might have a Signetti problem. I think they said that on Kirkland and Dunn as well. I'm stealing it. I think they do have a Signetti problem. I think that continues. BYU, I like shocking the world, winning the Big 12. I think it's a collision course in the Big 12 this year with BYU and Texas Tech. I think a team that could crash that party would be a Houston with Willie Fritz. I think they can crash it, but to me, it feels like with the money being accounted for, I think BYU and Texas Tech, it feels like it's them against the field in that conference. ACC, same with them. It feels like Miami against the field. Hence why they're 1-bid leagues. And then New Mexico, I like coming out. I just really like what's going on there. I think year 2.
We're at guys.
They're going to bring it back. I'm a Lobo guy. They beat UCLA last year pretty handily, too, if you don't remember.
There was a nice meltdown from you on our show that we clipped up that people can go find.
Oh, my goodness. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Before, little did I know, New Mexico was turning into a monster before our very eyes. And here they come. They return their quarterback. The coach's son's playing Mike linebacker. That's the vibes I'm talking about here. Feels like something magical is cooking. And Albuquerque, New Mexico. Las Cruces is New Mexico State. Feels like something fun could happen for the Lobos. And they got some cool-ass unis, too. So I'd love to see those broken out in the playoff in a matchup against Oregon. Look how beautiful these matchups look.
Hey, if you had us mentioning both New Mexico teams tonight, you won. Parlay cash.
My God. Just look at these matchups. Oregon hosting New Mexico. Beautiful. West Coast game. That's going to be the night game on Saturday, right? Then we got on that Friday, I would throw on Ohio State Ole Miss for that third one standalone Thursday game. Ole Miss goes to Ohio State. Welcome to it. It's going to be cold. Texas, USC, and a rematch 20 years in the making. 20 years after they met in the national title game. Vince Young, Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush. Frickin' who was the safety on that fucking Texas team? He was really good. Fuck. I'm forgetting. Limas Swede was on that team. I don't know. Who is the running back? I'm trying to remember. Texas. That's so long. I'm pulling. I'm trying. Huff? Was it Michael Huff? Was he playing safety for the Texas Longhorns then? Anyways, 20 years in the making, USC Texas rematch. One of the greatest games ever played in college football history was that national title game played in the Rose Bowl. Texas Vince Young found the pylon, and I got to talk shit to all my USC friends at school the next day. It was very fun. Definitely out of my like they were just too young to defend themselves really because they could just been like, you're a USCLA fan, shut the fuck up, you know.
They're mental midgets.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why you're a master.
Out of my time. And then Oklahoma going to BYU. I mean, that's fun. Great color matchup too. Break out the royal blue on the red. Ooh, let's just wear home unis. Let's go for it. I think it's just beautiful. I think the matchups make sense. I do strongly believe in this 12 to make it. The order can vary. I like this. I think Georgia wins the SEC again until proven otherwise. Really no reason to beat that squad. I have tremendous respect for them. I would be terrified to match up against them as well. I think they bring, they repeated this decade. So definitely a team to watch out for. And yeah, I like this field. Any questions, comments, concerns?
Well, no, I have 5 things for you, Brad. Because we obviously this is our first podcast together since before fall camp started. There was a lot of things that have happened, most significantly in college football being are NFL players allowed to come back to school? Are NFL players not allowed to come back to school? We saw the Big Ten be an industry leader and act on it very early today. The SEC followed suit about 6 hours later when they finally made their announcement as well. But the first thing I wanted to ask you is, since we spoke, Kellen Wyatt, Stephen Daly have been added to the roster. They're at practice. They're currently ineligible due to a court case in Colorado, I think. But we'll see what ends up happening because they did not end up getting swooped up in that NFL ruling of guys who can't come back and play. And so what do you make of the entire Kellen Wyatt, Stephen Daly saga from being ruled eligible the first time to where we are today in the greater college landscape of NFL players can't come back?
I mean, they got to draw the line somewhere. Where's the line? Is it you declaring? Is it you signing a contract to go to training camp? Where's the line? They got to figure that out. They just do. And they're trying to figure it out right now. And it's a little too late. And it's all one big mess. Obviously, I think it's a very clear line that if you signed a contract, any sport, in the big leagues, I think it's pretty straightforward in basketball and football especially, and baseball, hockey, pretty straightforward. Sign a contract. Those big 4 leagues, you can't play college again. That should be pretty cut and dry. I don't know why it's taking us this long to figure it out. I don't know. It's just common sense. Like, it's not like yes, obviously they got to put it in legal writing, right? And they got to figure that out. I don't know what's taking so long. I thought lawyers were pretty smart.
Well,
but do they want to move the line back
guys,
to if you declare, like if you make an official announcement, a press release, but then that gets a little granular because like people can get hacked and someone can announce for you, right? So like, where's the line? They just got to figure it out. I think it's pretty cut and dry, like that Daquan Wright, like not only just the Browns training camp, he was at another training camp too. He was at 2 different training camps. Sorry you got cut. Sorry you suck. Time's up.
To your point about like the lawyers and the press releases and all that different stuff, to see how quickly the conferences came together and made this ruling and just essentially created a law that everyone's going to turn around and follow is just such completely the opposite of how they've been trying to tell us the sport works and how creation of rules works and that you need Congress and there's no way anybody's going to have these conversations. No, you don't want to have these conversations. Like, that is the moral of all of this, or that is what I've taken away of all of this is the Big Ten decided essentially what it seemed like in 24 hours to meet, vote on it, and put it into action. Why can't they do this about the transfer portal? Why can't they do this about the calendar? Like, why can't they do this about tampering? Like, why? I don't understand. It's because these coaches don't actually want to have the conversation about it.
Yeah, the calendar is a little trickier situation because I think that actually takes some time to figure out. I think that would take like a week. to be honest, like a week of solely dedicated discussions on like what that looks like. And they got rid of the second transfer portal pretty quickly. I feel like they were able to just like, when it comes to just one rule, one little line that you got to write, sure, they can get it done pretty quickly. So like to your point on the tampering, like what's going on with that? But it's also like, what is tampering? You know, how do we define it? What are the procedures of investigating it? I think there's a lot more questions there that maybe aren't necessarily, cut and dry, black and white, right? This is no brainer, common sense stuff. Glad they figured it out. Glad they put their foot down. Glad they put a penalty associated to it as well. I think it's actually a little light of a penalty, to be honest. I think it should be a full year ban from the head coach. Pretty simple. Like, yeah. Like, just don't do it.
Don't do it.
Like, just don't do it. Full year ban. Like, pretty simple. Pretty easy to not do it. So, like, should be a harsh penalty. And not impossible to get away with as well. So, like, I guess maybe the penalty is fine because it's
kind of arbitrary.
It's almost impossible because it's like if
unless it just falls through the cracks, which how could it fall through the cracks? But I guess I wouldn't be surprised by anything. We've spoken a lot about the strength of this wide receiver room. Me and you specifically spoken a lot about the strength of Charlie Becker and Nick Marsh. We think they could potentially both be first-round picks. Curt Cignetti has hesitated to name who the wide receiver 3 was, although he did name Tyler Morris as the starting punt returner, essentially. What do you make of this wide receiver 3 battle, and who do you think is the leader right now?
Yeah, based on what he was saying, I'm going to listen. I learned my lesson. I'm going to listen to Sick. All right? Seems like wide receiver 3 is either going to be Davion Chandler or Tyler Morris. Seems like Shaz Preston is making too many mistakes in practice and is not trusted by the coaching staff to go out there and be able to execute as he should. He has also noted that if he were to figure things out, he'd probably be the wide receiver 3. It's kind of what he was alluding to. If he wasn't making so many mistakes, he can definitely help them out and be the number 3 guy. But it looks like Morris and Chandler are executing at a level that puts them above him. The interesting piece that I saw was he mentioned Jackson Wasserstrom, who's also been mentioned by Charlie Becker in press conferences as well. I think this guy legitimately plays a lot this year over LeBron Bond. That might be a hot take, but we all saw that one-handed catch in spring. So how hot is it? Love a good walk-on story, and I think Jackson Wasserstrom might be our walk-on story this year, and it could be very fun.
I like that. I like that.
Well, Hunter Renfrow action, yeah.
You might have to recycle that in a little bit when we get into the Smokies. But a couple more things for you. Obviously, we talked a lot about Jamari Sharp is entrenched as the cornerback 1. You have been very quick to let me know that I shouldn't be referring to the cornerback spot that is across from Jamari Sharp as cornerback 2. That is also cornerback 1 because he's a starter. And so who is going to be the cornerback 1 across from Jamari Sharp? Because it seemed like the way Cignetti is positioned at all camp that it was Rylan Gandy. And now it seems like that we're starting to it's now being referred to as more of a competition, at least more so than it ever has been. So how are you viewing it?
It's a competition forever. Till they leave the school. Like, they're going to be battling it out. I think they're all going to play a part, all 3 of them. We talked about Gandy, Harris, Sharp. Sharp definitely more established, being a starter on that championship team. Gandy was there, not the starter. Did start the Iowa game with Pons out. Harris comes in as very highly touted prospect. Has had a very strong career up until last year, which he kind of had a drop off. Was that due to injuries? Who knows? Bad coaching? Who knows? I think this is a place where he can reprise his career. So I think, I think we're going to get the good things out of all 3 this year, to be quite honest. And I don't really care too much about who's actually starting and who's not, because I think they're all going to play. Obviously, you want guys in rhythm and stuff, but to be honest, like, fresh legs goes a long way as well. And I'm excited for those guys. Good to know that we have a great amount of depth at that position. Definitely that one position group where it's like we're losing the most star power and probably didn't definitely have the most depth of any position group that we have, but maybe at the top, like if we want to nitpick, like maybe one of the more questionable starting position groups that we have, just in the sense where it's like hard to replace Pons. We all know how fucking good D'Angelo Pons was, and like, what does that impact look like of him leaving and being replaced? We don't know, and I think that's one of the bigger question marks on the. I think that is the biggest question mark on the defensive side of the ball, for sure.
And we'll see.
I'm confident in their abilities,
and it's going to continue until they graduate, according.
Yeah. And they're gonna be in competition for infinite time.
Me and you had multiple conversations
about the same protein.
Me and you had multiple conversations about the offensive line. We put together a bunch of different iterations. You put together a bunch of different iterations about the offensive line. I'm not sure any of them had Joe Brunner at right tackle. We're now 3 weeks into the Joe Brunner at right tackle experience. I will say, though, and to your credit, I went back and listened to us breaking down the roster initially after the championship game, and you did point out that Joe Brunner profiled much more as a tackle than he did as a guard.
Don't let your boy stay hot. Hey. Very tackle body. Like,
they don't call him the master for nothing.
Run blocking guard, but 6'7", like that screams right tackle. Screams it. Definitely not left.
Are you enjoying the Joe Brunner right tackle experience?
He's definitely not a left tackle. Based on his experience, I think it's actually so vital for him to be playing this position, just for his just from a Joe Brunner experience, like. When he goes to the NFL, right, he has 30 starts under his belt at left guard, could have 15, 16 starts under his belt at right tackle, high level, Big Ten football, all conference guy, multiple years. Like, that guy's going to find a job. That's a guy that can play multiple positions in an NFL line, probably 3 different positions. He's going to be able to play left guard, and right tackle. Super valuable skill to have, being able to play multiple positions at the offensive line, especially if you're projecting to be a backup. He has the body of starter upside as well. He screams NFL lineman, and we have a versatile one. I think the main theme from this O-line group that we've been screaming for the mountaintops. We've been trying to figure out the puzzle and how it falls together with this group of 5 that we feel very highly on. We just don't know where they're going to be. Joe Brunner is another example of the versatility we bring. Bray Lynch can play all 5. We know that. Drew Evans could probably play both guard spots and the center. Carter Smith is left tackle. He's not moving anywhere because he's just too valuable there, but I'm sure we can flip him around. Ajani can play all 4 guard and tackle spots. So just the amount of versatility, like if Carter Smith goes down, like here's what we do. We go, like, knock on wood, this doesn't happen, but like Carter Smith goes down, we go Ajani left tackle, probably Drew Evans left guard, Bray Lynch center, right guard Leibfried, and then right tackle Brunner. Like it just, and we're off to the races again. Like I feel good about that group, all things considered, right? Like the amount of depth that we have is awesome, and the amount of versatility that we can bring is fantastic. And this group is, I think they're going to win the Joe Moore Award this year, and I'm really excited to watch them play.
I think that's a nice segue into my final question, which has been my favorite question of the offseason, because I actually truly believe this, and I'm starting to hear kind of Cignetti allude to the fact that Josh Hoover might be a little bit farther along than Fernando was at this point last year. Can we start faster as an offense?
Can we not hit? You're alluding to the fact that we only beat FIU by 12 and Old Dominion by 13, or we beat FIU by 24 and we only beat Old Dominion by 13. And you are
basically, are we going to cover this monster spread for Texas, North Texas? I think we do.
If we do, it's a great sign. If we don't, it doesn't matter, because
I don't think it's a bad
the last 2 years. I think we do, and here's why. It's the stat that just keeps coming up all offseason that people like to throw, the ball knowers like to throw around, including myself. Number 1 RPO usage last year was Fernando Mendoza. Number 2 was Josh Hoover by a short margin. Close, very close. I think it was 73% Fernando and 72% Josh Hoover. It's a train. Just different carts on the train. Same train, same engines. Kurt Cignetti, the tank engine. Rolling along, bringing along different carts each year, different route. Next stop. Well, we got a few stops. We're going to Bloomington for a little bit, then we're going to Piscataway, we're going to Lincoln, we're going back to Bloomington, we're going to Ann Arbor, we're going to Washington, we're going to the road.
Man, look at that locomotive go.
We're going to Pasadena, we're going to Phoenix.
We don't
maybe
have the tie
out there. Phoenix maybe this year, and then Vegas, final destination. That'd be sick, by the way, if we got all West Coast.
For you?
Not even for me, because I'm like so far. I'm in the Midwest, but I just think that'd be cool. I think it'd be good, cool exposure to the West Coast recruits, Arizona, Nevada, California, which is a hotbed of college football talent. It'd be like going to Texas, which is another place I would love for our team to play and win.
Hey, it's the back half of the home and home with North Texas coming up next week.
That's damn right. Yeah, people forget.
People forget. We got an obligation to play this game.
Yeah.
How you doing? How you doing on energy?
It's great energy. Do you not feel it?
No, I do. I'm just because we got the Smokies, Brad. This is the week. I don't know when we did it last week. I honestly forget. Or
definitely week 0. Definitely week 0.
You think?
Or maybe the week before it.
No, this is you have to have the preseason award.
Before we do it, should we go into the chat?
Yeah. Let's do that.
Trojan's here. Now, if Stephen Daly or Trojan Fight says he's here, and I was like, I'm here, but Keys are late. But I used the Indiana Voice of College Football channel to say that. So it's a little confusing.
Brad has admin powers now.
Yeah, I do. Since I
Scary
hosted the
hours.
show, I'm back. So I'm sharing my screen. I'm going AWOL now.
He's going AWOL.
I'm going rogue. Taking over the show, man. Taking over the show, man. I'm trying to be John Gruden so bad. Anyway,
Howard Gruden.
Man, you look at David Pollock, man. This guy, 6'1", 260. I mean, this guy, oh my God. That's my John Gruden.
And he wasn't timing up claps. He was timing up snap counts.
I think my favorite John Gruden quote is when he's in like the Barstool live stream and he's talking about Andrew Luck. He's like, this guy, 6'5", 240, cannon arm, photographic memory. God made Andrew Luck perfect. I love that because he did. He did make Andrew Luck perfect. He fucking did.
Yeah, that's the best argument for Fernando Mendoza not starting games this year. Is look what they literally ruined Andrew Luck by putting him out there and letting him get fucking killed. And please don't do that to Fernando.
Yeah, because that would happen to this shitty ass O-line they have there in Vegas this year.
He was taking big hits in the second preseason game. Like when the speed actually speeds up. Like let him see Kirk Cousins take a big one first before we are so eager to throw him out there.
Exactly. Anyway, Trojan Fright says now if Stephen Daly or any other players who entered the draft are here, then you are ineligible for the chat and must vacate immediately. Tony Patetti rules, not mine. A very clever little jab there.
But Daly and Wyatt don't.
I did enter the draft. They didn't take me, so guess I gotta go. But I enter the draft every year. They never take me. Matt LaFleur hits me up every time. He's like, "Oh, we have more injuries on receiver here, and we need you, Loomis." I'm like, I'm retired, so can't do it. Yeah, no, seriously. But it's just back to the point. Like, I think the key nuance that people don't realize about Daly and Wyatt is that because they were hurt, and we honestly lucked out because of it, they didn't even go to a mini camp. It's very cut and dry. They didn't even play. They didn't step foot on an NFL facility besides Colts Pro Day.
Yeah. It is wildly funny that Indiana does have the most cut and dry like
pro days
and
pro days don't make you ineligible because you can be an underclassman and participate in your college pro day if they just invited you. They just want you there. Catch passes or something. Like
For Indiana, the school that people are already looking for excuses to like go out of their way to hate, to like have the only two guys that are like eligible for the right reasons, even though people don't completely understand it, is very funny.
Yeah, we were the smart ones that kept roster spots open.
But they got grandfathered in anyway, so it wouldn't matter. But
yeah, but I just hope they figure out the line now, because after this year, the 5-5 will be in place. Every fourth year right now will be eligible next year. Very cut and dry. We won't have these issues next offseason. So that's a win. They just got to draw that line right now for this year, because it will not be so simple next year. I mean, well, it will be. You go to the
should
draft.
get simpler, but
yeah, it's like you declare and you're out. You know, I guess maybe if you're a fourth year, third year guy and you declare for the draft and you don't get drafted, and you don't go to a camp, you can't come back. But at that point, you would have missed the transfer window. So, I guess maybe they'll do it like, because the college basketball's been doing it this way for a little bit, where you can enter the draft process and come back. And it's been pretty fine, honestly. Like, not
the league does
egregious.
that. You can pull your name out.
Yeah, exactly. And that's like a new rule that's been around for like now. It's been working pretty well, and I think the NFL can do that, maybe potentially.
I think the NFL does do that.
No, they haven't. No, that's never been a thing.
So you can't put your name in and pull it
That's
out.
why there's been so much discrepancy this offseason, because that has never really been allowed up until this year when the 5-5 came out.
Which happened
class actions to get those fifth-year guys eligibility, which probably should be. They kind of got the short end of the stick, right?
Well, no, back to your point of somebody has to get screwed over. It's like, I don't know, man. Like,
the ones who entered the draft are the ones getting screwed over, because if you're in a training camp, like cut and dry, you're done. You're done. Those guys in the NBA draft process that pull their names out, they don't go to any summer league. You go to summer league, you're done.
The argument for why these guys ended up the problem is, though, and here's where the nuance of the argument gets like kind of tricky, is the NCAA did it so late. This is why I'm saying somebody has to get screwed. The NCAA did it so late that a lot of those guys didn't realize that they were going to have eligibility, so they declared. And then if they knew that they were going to have eligibility before the deadline to declare, they wouldn't have declared, they would have entered the portal. And so that's the argument as to why like somebody who is at 2 training camps wants to come back to school, is they didn't realize they had the option until it was too late. So that's why you're getting people in court and being able to sue and all that stuff. But it's like, the point I'm trying to make is, sorry, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry to the person who was like a fringe roster guy who probably would have benefited from a 5th year, but somebody has to get the short end of the stick here. And the rule, I think, is a good rule moving forward, but you can't bring people who have already signed pro contracts back and put them on a college roster. Like, it's crazy to say it out loud. Sean McVay's quote was, "It felt like I took a freaking gummy." And like, it really is true. It felt like somebody got high and was just like, what if we did this? And nobody told him no.
Yeah, you had guys going to the GMs being like, "Hey, could you cut me early so I can go play college?" That's where it's like, okay. Like, what?
Isn't the goal to be here?
Yeah, like, what are we doing?
The goal is to play in the league and then make money by playing football for your career. That's the goal.
My goodness.
Unreal. A lot of the chat is just complaining about me not being on time. Hawaii is playing this week. Billy Gowers used to play for Hawaii. Yes, that's true. TCU's QB is a Harvard grad. UNC should have hired Cignetti. A lot of schools should have hired Cignetti, but UNC, especially given that JMU is like literally down the road. How do you not don't get that guy? Roberto
Bill Belichick was right there.
Says, out of character, I would bet anything Cignetti has never once publicly criticized a player in regards to their stats. That was just awful of Sonny to do in regards to Hoover. I completely agree. That's why he was on my villains list. That's
why I said it was out of character, because I didn't expect that from a guy like Sonny Dykes, who I thought was a pretty like stand-up guy. I don't know. Clearly, he's probably not as good of a guy as I thought.
Got paid off of it, though. Sure hope San Jose State doesn't get anything close to 20 points. That's from Trojan Fight. It's very funny. Shout out to my guy Money Marco in the chat saying let's go. He pulled the sickest one of one Fernando Mendoza card that I saw on Instagram today. We had a really cool conversation. Justin Beer saying, are you ready, folks? NSPR 8586, go Hoosiers and Sig we trust. Brad, how about those Braves?
Wait. Let's pause there. Hold on. What about the Braves? I'm looking at the standings. You guys are 3 games behind us.
One of us has a baseball team that just wins baseball games, and the other one has a baseball team that just likes to create a bunch of issues and shell companies and fake how much money they have and ruin the sport.
Yeah, it is pretty. I'm not like proud of kind of what's coming out with the Dodgers, to be quite honest.
No, it's tough position to put their fan base in, to be honest. I don't envy it. Just kind of hope you win.
We won those ships though. You can't take them away from us. Freddie hit that fucking walk off. That happened. And
I mean, last year was the most valid.
Let me remind all you people.
That was the most valid championship there was.
As homegrown of as a ball club as you can imagine, Los Angeles Dodgers had Chris Taylor hitting leadoff, Yasiel Puig hitting the cleanup, Bellinger, Seager.
Get Brad going long enough, you'll think Yasiel Puig was the best player of all time.
Kershaw went all the way to Game 7 against the Astros that cheated that year. Cheated.
Yeah, that's what this was your villain origin story.
In the game. Cheated in the game. On the books. Cheated in the game.
On the books is even worse.
Robbed. Nope.
Yes, it is.
Cheating in the game is worse.
Gaining a competitive advantage by any means necessary.
I just thought they had a shit ton of money, dude. Like, I just thought they were just paying it, you know?
We all did.
I did too, because you look at the Guggenheim partners, they're like $300
money, like,
billion.
It's a great excuse, too. It's like, I don't know, they got a bunch of money. It's like, all right.
Yeah, I thought they just had 388 billion in assets. They were just using it well. Turns out I was wrong. We're still 3-peating though.
It happens to us. No, it's one of our teams is winning the World Series. It's not yours though. But we got some important shit to get to here, Brad. This has become an annual thing. This is the second annual.
Why, Jonathan? Why am I Euro? No.
This is the second.
Why do I think I'm Euro? All right, go.
This is the second annual Smokies Awards Preseason Watchlist reveal. Brad, I am incredibly excited about this. If you don't remember how this works, I have the categories. I have a couple guys picked out that I feel like are going to fit these categories. Brad has no idea what I'm about to say to him. Brad's going to add a couple guys to the list. The chat's going to add a bunch of guys to the list. And then we're going to revisit this at the end of the season. We're going to give out the awards. It's going to be a lot of fun.
My big complaint is that we keep it too long. I think we got to figure out how to keep it to 5.
You think only 5?
Depends on the category, but yes.
Oh, amount of people. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I intentionally kept it short.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good job.
All right. The first category is the Riley Nowakowski. I didn't realize how valuable you were going to be player of the year.
I love that. That's a good one.
The nominees are
I didn't realize how valuable.
Trevor Gibbs, Davion Chandler, Quan Sanks, and Jacob Savage.
Okay.
Do you have anyone to add?
I'll throw in Daniel and Dukwe.
Ooh, I like that.
And Tyrone Burris.
Ooh. Chat, if you got them, chat, just blurt them out there. We'll fit them in the right categories. But yeah. So that's the Riley Nowakowski. I didn't realize how valuable you were going to be player of the year. Number 2.
Make this list longer. All right, let's go to more categories because we got other players. All right. I can add Carson Williams in there too.
This is the Kobe Martin, I'm not missing a single one of your press conferences award for best press conference. I don't know if you had the pleasure of listening to Kobe Martin's presser, but it was unreal. The nominees are obviously Kobe Martin, Tyreek Tucker, Billy Gowers, and Ademola Ajani.
I'm not a big presser guy. I usually have my buddy Keezer loop me in on what's going on with the pressers. Who do I think can give a little bit of pizzazz in their press conferences? I think we're gonna get a good soundbite from Joshy this year.
Ooh,
Joshy Hoover
Joshy Hoove
and Nick Marsh because he's a receiver. I hope he's as prima donna as it gets.
Hey, gold cleats. We know he
Damn
is.
right. Oh, he is. We know he is.
Category number 3, Brad, is the De'Aaron Hill is the running back crowd pop creator of the year.
Oh man, crowd pop creator of the year.
The nominees are Turbo Richard, who looks to be returning kicks for the Hoosiers this year. I'm thinking maybe a kick return touchdown at a big moment. Byron Baldwin Jr., who set the table for the pick six in the Peach Bowl by absolutely blasting Oregon's returner on kickoff. And Elijah Hardy, because he has a propensity for the big play.
He does have the propensity for a big play. Crowd pop.
Creator. Who's going to block a punt? Who's going to... It's like it's hard for it to be an interception if it's not going to be a pick six. You know what I mean? Who's going to force a fumble? What game is it going to be in? Sold out Howard, who's going to...
Charlie Becker.
But it's can it be a receiver, right? Like it have to be somebody running down the sideline. He's got the breakaway speed to do that.
Deep balls up in the air. Lands, crowd pop. The end zone, touchdown, Becker. Game winner over Notre Dame. Championship.
Did you see the Notre Dame fanfic on the timeline this past week?
Bro.
Insane. Absolutely insane. I didn't read it. I couldn't read
Brady Quinn's pushing. Jeff Samar's is pushing. Fucking Golden Tate's pushing.
Was that in there?
Yeah, it kept going. It's like all the Irish of the last 40 fucking years are pushing. We've been irrelevant for that long.
Well, it definitely said that part.
They haven't been irrelevant for that long, but he basically did.
Next, Brad, is the Aiden Fisher That Guy's Cheating Award for Football IQ.
Tyler
The nominees are Bones Jones, Preston Zachman, Mario Landino, and Tyreek Tucker.
Luke Aaron Godey's push. Oh my God.
Wait, who did you say for this guy? For football IQ?
Football IQ guys. Did you put Isaiah Jones in there?
Yeah, Bones Jones. For sure.
Cool. Josh Burnham. Fucking Tyler Morris. Josh Hoover. Josh Hoover. I feel like he's going to be running this offense really well.
Is Rourke going to be pushing?
Rourke's going to be pushing. Jazz Johnson's pushing. Simi Cobbs is pushing.
Peyton Ramsey's pushing.
Donovan Hale's pushing. Marcus Thigpen's pushing. Kellen Lewis, who got kicked off the team, is pushing. Way back in the day, you know Kellen Lewis. I'm sure a lot of Hoosiers know about him. Dual threat stud quarterback through to James Hardy. Got kicked off the team, was one of the more promising, probably the most promising young dual threat quarterback, probably the most promising young quarterback they had.
So you don't think he's pushing?
Since Antoine Randall up. And then he kind of flames out, but then opens the door for Ben Chappell, who had a great career. I believe he's the third all-time leading passer in the school's history.
Nate Sudfeld definitely pushing.
Nate Sudfeld's pushing. We got fucking Mitchell Page is pushing.
He's definitely pushing.
Who's that small? Shane Wynn. Shane Wynn's pushing.
Watt Billiar's pushing.
Fucking Mike McFadden's pushing. Who else? Oh, Marcelino McRae Ball's pushing. Ian Thomas is pushing. Dan Feeney's pushing. Jason Spriggs is pushing. I'm just naming draft picks now, making it easy on myself.
Thomas Allen's pushing.
Thomas Allen's pushing. Tom Allen's pushing.
The whole Allen family. We're loving each other too over here.
Look, they probably are pushing, you know. I'm surprised.
Our next Smoky Brad is the Charlie Becker.
John Fisher's pushing. I'm sorry. Okay.
The Charlie Becker here when you need me the most clutch player of the year. The nominees are Charlie Becker, Nick Marsh, Roe Hardy, Josh Hoover, and I couldn't decide between one of the kickers, so I picked both of them, Nico and Patty Mack.
I mean, I'd pick Nico, but Dr. Bomba's pushing. I love that. Bobby Knight's pushing. Isaiah Thomas is pushing. Calvert Cheney's pushing.
Babe Laufenberg, 2-0 against Purdue.
What's funny is that it's literally us and hoops right now. You know? Anyways. Sorry.
We're just like Nebraska football.
We're just like Nebraska. We're just like Notre Dame football.
Yeah.
Probably
you got anybody to add to the Charlie Becker here when you need me the most clutch player of the year?
Landino.
All right. Then we have the
I like your list, though.
We have the D'Angelo Pons defensive MVP.
Ooh.
I don't remember who I named it after last year. I think I also named it after Pons.
And Pons won it.
Yeah, and he did. He did win it. The nominees are Elijah Hardy, Isaiah Bones-Jones, Toby Osunsami. And I also put the two potentially eligible guys, Stephen Daly and Kellen Wyatt.
Oh, God, what a mess. Mario Landino. We're not talking enough about Mario Landino. NFL pass rushing ability from the 3-tech.
I think you could just start naming the entire defense if you really want to. Like Tucker should be on here. Like Farrell,
Sharp,
Baldwin,
Farrell,
Sharp.
bro. Farrell, man. He might be the best player on the team. Number 1 in your program. Man, MVP.
Could be Zach, man.
They're going to be such a sound unit, dude. I don't even know if there's going to be an MVP. Good. They're going to be a machine.
Could be Haynes.
No, it can't be Haynes. Not allowed.
Not allowed.
Not allowed. Can't be coach. Coach can't be MVP. Most valuable player. Come on, man.
I don't hate it. A couple of them named after Charlie Becker. The Charlie Becker. Billy G.
Field
defensive
position.
MVP.
Yeah, field position.
No. The Charlie Becker, Stephen Daly, Daniel Ndukwe Next Man Up Award. The nominees: Hollywood Bell, Garrett Reese, LeBron Bond. And I'm adding Jackson Wasserstrom on there because of your spiel.
I like it. Austin Liebfried. Daniel Ndukwe again because we're so deep.
Come out.
Tyrone Burris. Kyler Garcia. Cam McGaney. Henry Olinger. Carson Williams. A lot of guys I'd be confident stepping up on this team. A lot of them. Davion Chandler.
Both Williams.
Yeah. Jerrion Campbell.
That'd be sick. I hope not, though.
Tyler Cherry. I know he's not the QB2, but I mean, if we were starting
Can we sidebar real quick and talk about how it's a little concerning that Tyler Cherry hasn't won the QB2 job yet?
We could sidebar. Here's my take on it. Want my read on it? I think in a situation where someone has to come in relief for Hoover in a game, I think Grant Wilson's your guy. But I think if he had a start between Wilson and Cherry, I think they're going to go with the young guy. Go with Cherry, see what he's got.
I'm glad we sidebarred this because it's good perspective.
I think it's good. I think it's where we're at.
I think we can go. I
think we're lighting a fire under Tyler Cherry.
Yeah.
He's also coming back from injury.
Yeah, people forget he took a year off football. He wasn't even playing last year.
Yeah.
Good sidebar.
He blew out his knee. I'm not too worried about it.
December.
Yeah.
The Brian Haynes Tweet of the Year award for Tweet of the Year. The nominees are Brian Haynes, Kurt Signetti, or Nick Marsh.
I'm gonna throw Mama Marsh on there. How about that?
Actually, funny enough, Mamatron is also on there.
Let's go.
Shout out to Mamatron, who's been an unbelievable follow this offseason.
And I'll throw in White Boy Rick. All right.
White Boy Rick. I may or may not have had us, Kirkwood and Dunn, and Hoosier Commish written down here at one point and crossed it out.
Fair enough.
I'll add White Boy Rick.
I don't think it's going to be harsh.
The Mario Landino, wait, this guy's a freshman award. Trevor Gibbs. Cavante Hugan. Blake Smythe.
So when you say freshman with the new 5-5 rule,
true freshman.
Are you okay? True freshman. Yeah. All right. DeMonte Timms, Henry Ollinger. Call him Hank Ollinger.
Do they call him Hank, or you just
I want to call him Hank?
Hanko.
Cam McAney. He looks big. Sam Simpson. Hopefully his number doesn't need to be called, but throw him on there. Jerrion Campbell. With the 5-5 rule, red shirts out the window.
Yeah, you can just play everybody.
Yeah.
Special teams,
special talents, special players.
Special plays.
Keep our guys fresh. That's what I love about this team is that we had our ones out on majority of special teams the first 2 years in Signetti.
Yeah, and on pretty much every special team snap.
Yeah, we haven't brought up this enough, but I think the depth that we have allows a lot of the twos to play the majority of special teams this time around, as opposed to having to have Isaiah Jones on punt. Like, yes, on punt return, going to have a good amount of
things you want to block a couple of them.
Well, not even just that, just like to be there for a fake, to have your best players out there. Kickoff shouldn't involve too many starters. Kickoff return, punt shouldn't be too bad. Punt return could be interesting just because you want to avoid the fake. But yeah, I shouldn't be using too many guys on special teams this year. Should be getting the twos out.
Exciting. We haven't talked about that at all.
Getting some Big Ten speed experience. It's valuable.
Yeah, special teams translates too. You know where our leading tackler on special teams was last year?
Aiden Fisher?
Charlie Becker.
Oh, makes sense. He's been our guy. He probably doesn't have to play gunner anymore.
No, probably not. And I think he was the leading tackler as a freshman.
I don't think we want him to play gunner, to be honest. I would hate to have him get hurt playing gunner.
No, our all Big Ten, all world first round pick wide receiver probably shouldn't be playing gunner. But the fact that he was last year is and then just became the best receiver in the country speaks volumes to the type of football player he is. He's
best receiver in the country, the most clutch player down the stretch in the playoff. We could say that.
Statistically, the best receiver in the country from week 11 on. Talk to the numbers. I'm not telling you he's generating.
All right, talk your shit.
I'm not telling you.
Talk your shit. There we go. Love it.
Man, numbers don't,
you know, We also got Jeremiah.
I was about to say we took him at 101.
Yeah, we got 101 yesterday. Here we go. Come on,
Great.
man.
We got one more Smokey, Brad. One more. Fernando Mendoza, offensive MVP. The nominees are Josh Hoover, Turbo Richard, Kobe Martin, Chuck B, Nick Marsh, Brock Schott, Trevor Gibbs.
Carter Smith.
Carter Smith. I love it.
For the O-line as a whole, honestly. He'll be the rep. So I have a good feeling it's going to be the O-line. It's all said and done.
Any categories to add?
No, you do a great job.
That's what I got this week, Brad.
That's all you got?
That's it.
Quickest 2 hours of my life.
I cut back some of it.
Love it.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I got Dante Moore versus Fernando Mendoza. That really bothered me this week, but I don't have to get back into it. You alluded to the punishment that the coaches are going to face for rostering and playing an NFL guy in the Big Ten. It's going to be 50% of the contests you'll be suspended for and an institutional fine, which wasn't defined.
I feel like that's not harsh enough.
I feel like to the point you were also making is like it's pretty like if you can't get away with something like this, like if you're doing something like that, like you're just gonna get caught. So there shouldn't even be like nobody should try. You shouldn't even get to the point of punishment. And then if you guys, if anybody in the chat, anybody who ends up watching the clips or watching the videos, if you guys have anybody to add, let me know. I'll put them on. I'll write them in pencil so I know it's written in from the chat. And then like I said, sometime in January probably we'll rip back through these and we'll present the Smokies. It's been a while since we spoke, Brad. It was good to talk to you again. In front of the people to have these types of Indiana football conversations.
We talk off air. Don't get twisted, chat.
This is the first time I spoke to Brad in 3 weeks. I don't even know how his Greece trip went. I was like 50-50. I was like, is he going to be back? Like, I don't know if he's.
I thought about just staying, but it would have been tough watching Big Noon. Actually, like Big Noon kickoff would be at 8 p.m. there.
There you go. And we're going to be playing a lot of. Actually, here's my closing thought, Brad, and I'll lead off and then I'll let you rip yours. But my closing thought is that people are going to be shocked, and the Ohio State fans especially, about how much real estate Indiana is about to take from the top of the game. And one of the first things to go is going to be the Big Noon kickoff slot. It's going to go to Indiana a lot because people are going to watch them. And you'll see it start off as like, oh my God, thank God we're not playing Big Noon. But it's like Kirkwood and Dunn had a big thing about when Trent was out in LA talking about the advertisement and that Indiana's taking the red team away from Ohio State. And like all these little things about like who's the alpha program in the conference. It's hard to challenge a team like that, obviously, given their stature and how often and how long they've won for. But you're going to start to see a little bit of that shift where they try and capitalize on who the IT program is right now. And it is very clearly the Indiana Hoosiers. So I'm really excited to watch the landscape kind of react to Indiana being put essentially front and center in front of everybody this year.
I mean, that's a great thought. I don't know if it's funny you shouted out Ohio State because I feel like that's like the one fan base that actually knows what they're getting themselves into with us. I feel like they're actually like, I respect their fan base because I feel like all offseason they've actually been like, the respect's there.
No, 100%.
Like,
I've been getting into it about
and considering the fact that like we kind of got bailed out by a fielding missed kick.
Hey, we missed a kick in that game too.
We did. But he also missed like a chip shot, and it would have forced overtime. We don't know how that result. And even then, like they came the closest to beating us out of anyone, in my opinion. Obviously, the Penn State was pretty close too.
Penn State was pretty damn close, and Miami was close too.
And Iowa. And I felt like it was only a matter of time. That game is kind of how it felt. Of those four, I felt the most confident during Iowa. Beat the shit out of everyone else. Beat the piss out of everyone else besides those four. 12. We went 12 games and beat the piss out of everyone. 4 games challenged us. But Ohio State been probably with that in mind, been the most like respectable of the fan bases. I think they know we've arrived. They've seen it before. They know what it looks like.
Well, they saw us year 1 and year 2.
Yeah. Yeah, they saw the change. They
Are
saw
they the
us.
only school?
They even saw us go opening drive in that game on the road with Lawton and Ellison and Rourke. First drive down the field, touchdown.
I guess Maryland and Purdue.
Yeah, they know who we are. That's for sure. I think closing thought, I think I just got to preview kind of where I think this team's at on a season. It's like every year they've exceeded my expectations, which have been from a national perspective. We've had the same perspectives. I'll include you on this. We've been very confident on this team. Year one, we thought we were going to go eight wins, 9 wins. They blew that out of the water. Next year, we were like, okay, let's take that next step. Let's win a playoff game, right? Because big show, we knew what we were getting ourselves into. It's hard, right? To make the playoffs hard, and then to run the table is harder. And they blew that expectation out of the water. Not only did they win 1, they won 3 in the whole damn thing, and went undefeated along the way on the process. Didn't lose a single regular season game. Because we were like, they could go 11-1, make the playoff, and then we still got to see a win there, make some progress. But they blew those expectations out of the water. Now it's like my expectation is, make the playoff again and run the table, maybe win a couple games, right? That should be the expectation. I think the expectation for this team should be to make the playoff, and that should be the realistic expectation for this team every year. I don't want to be that fan base that gets delusional and thinks we can win it every year and everyone should just be kissing our toes, because we're going to have our day where someone gets us. It's going to happen. Does that come in the championship game? I don't know. But does that come in the regular season? I don't know. It's going to happen. Does it happen 2 years from now? I don't know. Our day is going to come, right? And obviously enjoy it. Talk your shit. I want us to be a little more grounded in terms of our kind of like, obviously there's certain fan bases that we should be getting at because they, like Miami and Notre Dame, they just don't accept it that we're here. Everyone else seems to be on board. So maybe talk your shit, but like, let's keep the chirping to be a little realistic. Like we have, like, yes, they'll throw the history in our face all the time and try to pin us down on our history. But like at the end of the day, like century of futility is forgotten. So like, let's act like it. Like that shit don't matter. Don't even need to bring up a point about their team about it. Like we're the kings of the mountaintop. Let's act like it. Right.
The lion doesn't concern himself with opinions of sheep, but sometimes the lion likes to circle back on receipts and remind people who the sheep are.
Yeah, and let's let our players do that, right? I feel so confident in this team that when we line them up, we're going to be an absolute buzzsaw. I think we're going to see we've started comparing this team to Nick Saban about once we beat Oregon, once we got that big win under our belt, and the way we did it too. We kicked their ass. Yeah, it was a 10-point game, but like the pick six kept them in it. We almost doubled them up. That pick six basically prevented it from being a 20-point blowout. And that was when I think we realized that this is probably bigger than just one national title, which is what we thought was going to happen going to mid-year, like year one. It's like, okay, inevitable national title with this guy. Now we're looking at like multiple. Are we going to repeat? I don't know. But I think we're going to get another one with Signetti, at least one more. I'm kind of rambling here, but like that's kind of my expectations for this team to really start looking like those Nick Saban Bama teams and just being an absolute buzzsaw. Like teams, we get Nebraska, we go to Nebraska, we go to Rutgers blackout. Nebraska's probably going to do something.
I think it's homecoming.
And we just beat the shit out of them. They think they have a shot and they don't. That's what I want it to look like. It has been looking like that the last 2 years at times as well. But I think we're going to see some ranked teams come around and we're going to embarrass some folks. And it's going to be I think this team on paper is more talented. Definitely has a lot more depth to it than last year's roster. At the top, like hard to say it's going to be better than 16-0. Like I've already said, like just because I think we're better does not guarantee 16-0. Just doesn't. There's a lot of good teams out there. We talked about the top 7. I think the top 7 is legit. Like if I were to pick the top 7, we all know who we're talking about when I say that. Go look at the 8 people. I'm taking the top 7 over the field. So when we face one of those 7, buckle up. But everyone else is getting fucking belt. Period. Lock in. All right, let's have a year. Let's go.
Hell yeah. North Texas preview next week. If you're a fan of the show, longtime fan of the show, you know that the history lessons that Brad likes to come with. I'm not sure if we're rocking the same format this year. We'll see. You have to tune in and find out. But yeah, we'll be previewing North Texas. We have Indiana Hoosiers football being played 11 days from today, soon to be 10 days from tomorrow. Yeah, it's about as exciting as it gets. Talking season is officially almost over. And this is our last week of one show. We'll be back to 2 shows next week, Brad.
Wow.
Yeah. So it'll be Tuesday night, and then it'll be. Are we doing Sunday again? What are we doing?
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll talk about it. Yeah, Sunday again.
I'll just be more committed to it, to be honest. Whether I call on my phone and bring my laptop around, I'll just coordinate better.
Well, no, it'll be. I'll have the reactions right after the games, and then we'll do our live reaction to conclude the weekend on Sundays. It'll be good.
Beautiful. All right, I'm in.
Hell yeah! Please like, comment, share, subscribe to Indiana at the Voice of College Football on YouTube. We've been growing recently, which is a lot of fun. We're chasing down 700 subscribers pretty soon. Hopefully, past that in the next week or so. That'd be awesome. Trying to get to 1,000 before the season starts, but that seems like it's going to be a heavy ask. So we'll see. Always set lofty goals and then shoot for the moon, land on the stars, or whatever the hell the saying is. But yeah, it helps the channel out a lot. Hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. If you're watching on the Sigs Inside Twitter page, hopping over to YouTube, all that good stuff. Follow us on Twitter at Alec Keyser. Follow Brad at Bradley_Loomis8. Check out the Voice of College Football at the VOCFB. And obviously, Mark on the main channel is doing a bunch of stuff. If you want to go check out how the rest of the landscape is feeling, we got channels for Georgia, Notre Dame, Michigan, Alabama. You name it, the Voice of College Football has got somebody talking about it. So you want to go there and learn, you want to go there and talk shit, all that good stuff. Chats are open. Yeah, we'll be back next week working on a guest. We'll see if we end up with a guest or not. And yeah, it'll be the North Texas preview to open up Indiana's defense of the national championship. Could not be more excited. Appreciate everybody for hanging out this week. And we'll see everybody next week. And if you're interested in joining the Fantasy Football League, the College Fantasy Football League, reach out to me, reach out to the account, leave a comment, do something. We're going to try and draft this week and fill that league up. So, yeah. It's been a hell of an offseason. It's been a lot of fun holding this national championship over the rest of college football. But at least for the fan base, the chase starts next week. And so exciting time. And we'll be here to talk about it. See you guys next week.
Penn State win total under. Closing thoughts. Sorry.
Ooh. We disagree there. We'll talk about it next week. Go Hoosiers.